Hello, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Today's video, I wanted to talk about the movement called MGTOW. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of MGTOW. It's men going their own way. And for those of you that have not heard of MGTOW, I'm going to explain it to you. Basically, MGTOW is, well, men going their own way. So these are people, these are men who, because they have had literally a whole slew of bad experiences with women, specifically that they have been divorce raped, as they call it, which means that they went into a marriage and the wife decided to, after a couple of years, decided to divorce them, take them to court and take half of their property, so the house and the money and all these things, which does happen, obviously. This is the typical conventional result of divorce. So they complain that men are being taken to court, they're losing their property, they're losing their assets, and that because of the way that the society is engineered in a female-dominated matriarchal way, is not really serving or even respecting the human values or rights of men, and they feel that men are being mistreated by the society, which they refer to as soy society. Okay, so soy is just a euphemism for estrogen, right? As in women. And because they feel that they're being mistreated and taken advantage of by women, they have decided that they're not going to deal with women anymore. So what the typical MGTOW is going to do is they are going to, they're going to refuse to get into a marriage. They're going to refuse to get into relationships. And they will even refuse to deal with women on any level. So they will not have sex with women. They will not have anything to do with women because they feel that even sexual contact with women can lead to them, landing in jail. So because of false rape accusations, which funny enough has happened to me, and I know it to be true, and everybody has heard about the Me Too movement. So because of the divorce rape and the mistreatment of men and the inequality towards men's rights, and of course the false rape accusations and the potential problems that men can have with women, which are usually, as they would put it, very advantageous towards the women and disadvantageous towards the men. As such, the MGTOW have decided to have nothing to do with women. This is the basic tenet or belief or dogma of MGTOW. Now, I am making this video as a rebuttal, okay, as a criticism of MGTOW. Essentially, what I'm saying is why you should not go MGTOW and why I am against going MGTOW. Okay, so to get, the first things first. On the one hand, I do agree with the MGTOW folks that yes, men are being mistreated in society. Men are definitely being considered an inferior second-class citizen in society. I mean, at least in the West or in feminism, because feminism is saying essentially that it's a female supremacy, saying that women are better than men, basically, that women are afforded more rights than men. Because it's a matriarchal society, it is the flip-flop opposite of a patriarchy. So in patriarchy, the man is superior to the woman, and the man gets to have more rights than the woman. But in a matriarchy, it's the opposite. So as far as this point is concerned, I definitely do agree. I feel that, it's impossible to ignore, the fact that men are being taken advantage of. They are being taken for a ride. They are being taken, exploited, and mistreated and many times even killed and harmed in very serious ways because of the effects of feminism. So when it comes to this divorce rate, yeah, it is definitely happening. Look at the statistics. Statistics are showing that divorce rates are very high. Actually, they are at the highest peak than that they have been historically throughout history. So we're living in pretty interesting times. And what this means is that you getting married is like playing Russian roulette with a gun. You're putting this gun in your head and just waiting until that bullet is going to come out and pew, go through your head, right? So, absolutely, you getting married is a very bad idea, and of course, I am personally against getting into any form of relationships with women. I think it's a bad idea. I think it will result in a lot of problems for you as a man that you should not be. I mean, look, a man should be resistant. There's a lot of things that men should just take. This is a fact. It's just part of being a man. You have to take it. But this doesn't mean that you have to jump into a literal fire stupidly and burn yourself to death for no reason. So it is reasonable to shoulder some level of risk if the reward is good enough. But when the reward is not there and you're getting yourself into trouble, in that case, maybe not so much. Maybe then it is actually a bad idea and you probably shouldn't be doing it. So with marriage, I would say you probably shouldn't get married because statistics are proving, your wife is going to divorce you within 2, 3, 4 years. And she's definitely going to drag your ass to court. And she will take half of your money, half of your property, everything. And she may even sue you for more if she can prove, for example, or frame you as an abuser or some fucking thing. She may even take more from you. And of course, I am not somebody that loves money. I actually don't have much respect for money, but I totally understand. As a dude, maybe you worked really hard for this money, or you earned it fair and square, or whichever way you got this money, and you don't want somebody taking your money just like that. You feel, look, it's not even about the money; it's about the disrespect, because this is straight up theft. This is straight up theft. Somebody's marrying you and divorcing you within 3 years, and just taking loads of money. Maybe you have like $1 million in your bank account, half of it is gone. There you go. You lost $500,000. It's like a scam, right? This is what scammers do. They come and they clean up your bank account, right? So I don't think it's even about the money, because as a dude, what, fuck it. You can always make money, right? But money comes and goes. But it's about the disrespect that that you allowed somebody to come in your house and trusted them. And what did they do? They divorced you, took you to court, and stole your house and your money. This level of disrespect and exploitation is, of course, unacceptable. So for this reason, on this part, I do agree with the MGTOW. I would say, do not get married. It's a bad idea. Same thing with relationships, because in a lot of countries, especially if you have the misfortune of living in Canada, which is actually where MGTOW started. If you have the misfortune of being Canadian or having lived in Canada or, living in Canada, either something called common law. And what common law means is if it can be ascertained or proven in court that you have indeed cohabitated and shacked up with this woman for a while, I don't know what the period is, a couple of months or something, even if there has not been a marriage contract, you are still liable for all full rights of divorce and marriage. So when this separation happens under common law, you are still liable for alimony and child support and everything. All the things that come with the typical conventional divorce procedure, you will be liable for that. So For this reason, it makes absolutely no sense for you to get married, and it makes absolutely no sense for you to get into a relationship. So as far as these 2 points are concerned, I definitely agree with the MGTOW folks, 100%. However, when the MGTOW say, oh, but we should also avoid women, like we shouldn't be having sex with women, and we shouldn't have anything to do with women, I would say, here on this point, I disagree, and I disagree heavily. And the reason is this. When you say this and you want to have nothing to do with women, it it raises a very critical philosophical question relating to the question of what is a man then? What is the utility of a man? What is the purpose of and meaning of your life as a man? Because traditionally speaking, since ancient times, men have been competing. This is the way of nature. Men are competing. Well, what are they competing for? Well, number one, they are competing for the reproduction rights. They were competing with other men for the right to have access to women that they can reproduce with and have children and sire children, right? This is the number one competition for men, followed by the competition for resources, right? So you're competing for women, but you're also competing for resources. But of course, the competition for resources is strictly tied to the competition for women, because you only need those resources. I mean, why does a man compete for resources? It's so that he can have more women and have a bigger family and have more children and feed more of these children. This is the reason why this competition exists in the first place. So this is just a way of nature. Saying that you, as a man, you are going to, withdraw and pull out from this competition and just say, throw in the towel, go MGTOW. I mean, you have to realize just how insane this is. You're shooting yourself in the foot, man. You're literally taking a gun and shooting yourself in the foot. It's not even your enemy. It's not the adversary. It's not the competitor who is shooting you in the foot. You are shooting yourself in the foot. Because when you withdraw from this competition and you're not trying to compete with the other men to get the women, well, then you're just making it easier. You're making it easier for all the other men to get those women. And now you're out of the competition. And now somebody else is going to reproduce with that woman that maybe, potentially, you had a chance with. You see what I'm saying, guys. Guys, I am not somebody who is lying to you. I am not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here as a bold-faced liar and tell you things which are not true, or things that I don't live, or principles that I don't believe in my life. That's complete fucking nonsense. Guys, I already have 2 kids. I have already managed to get 2 kids, and I recently managed to get a girl pregnant, right? And I'm guessing after 8 months or 9 months, she's gonna give birth, right? So I'm living proof of these things that I'm doing. So I'm still, I agree with the MGTOW. Like, as far as the marriage and relationship part is concerned, yeah, I'm not interested in the marriage. And you can literally take a gun. You can literally put a gun to my temple and say, get married. And I would say no. And you will have to shoot me, because I will not do it. I am not going to get married no matter what. This is never going to happen. Not in a million years. It is never going to happen. You will never see me with a ring on my hand. Relationships, never going to happen. It happened once, and that's the end of it. It's never going to happen again. But I'm still competing, right? I'm still trying to snake my way into a woman's bush, you know? I'm still playing my role as a man. I am not shirking this responsibility. I am not throwing in the towel and saying, I give up, man. I can't do this no more. There's too much competition. I'm going to get abused. I'm going to take advantage of. Well, fine, fine, fine. You don't want to be divorce raped. You don't want to have all these problems, blah, blah, blah. Fine. Don't get into marriage. Don't get into relationships. But there is no excuse for you to abandon the competition and just allow other men to reproduce. Guys, this is, talk about cuckoldry. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Dude, guys, when you go MGTOW, you're being the biggest cuck. Because when you pull out and you maybe had just a tiny little chance to sleep and reproduce with this woman, and now that chance is gone, it's become 0%. And that other dude is gonna, nut. And he's gonna have a child. Well, what does that say about you? Come on, man. This is not the solution, guys. Now, I do like to look back at what the ancient people used to do, and especially, the natural, primitive, hunter-gatherer, pastoralist, nomadic people, what they used to do in their, construct of their society, and to look at them for guidance. And we can say, of course, that it is a fact that primitive people, nomadic people, did not actually have the marriage contracts or relationships that we would consider pretty much for granted in this society. Actually, they just it was quite rudimentary. It was quite simple. You just find a woman, you like her, she likes you, you have sex, and you have kids, and then the man is gonna hunt and get resources and make sure to take care of the kid. He will be dealing with the woman and the kid, but they're not really in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, the man is not really interested in the woman. His only interest is to ensure the survival of his children. And oftentimes what would happen actually is that the child would be raised by the entire tribe. So if there's like 100 people in that tribe, everyone would take part in raising that child. So he's not alone, right? Of course, nowadays it's all changed because nobody has any connection to their community, and the community is not involved, and you can't trust nobody because you don't know anybody. So, so why would you trust anybody to be raising your child? That would be, in modern society, would be literally insane, right? It would be crazy. So, yeah. So this is how it should be. So my rebuttal, my criticism of MGTOW would be this. Fine and dandy. You don't want to get married, and you don't want to get into relationships. Bravo. I salute you. This is good. You're protecting yourself. You don't want to be taken advantage of. You don't want to be a meal ticket. Exactly. Why should you? Why should you be taken advantage of? Why should you be allowing people to come in your life just to steal your resources and then leave? That makes no sense, right? But why would you go your own way? Why would you abandon the competition? Why would you abandon the competition? Why would you just decide to throw in the towel and say, I don't want to deal with women no more. I want to have nothing to do with women. Well, okay, fine, go MGTOW and throw in the towel and don't have sex with women and don't reproduce. And then what? You lose. That's it. I just can't put it in any simpler terms. Like, we can put your purpose as a man into question, right? Say, what is your purpose? What are you competing for? What is the meaning of life for you as a man? What are you trying to achieve in life? Some people are going to say, well, I want to make a lot of money. I want to make businesses and enterprises. Yeah, and then what? What are you going to do with this money? Dude, the money can be used. You reproduce and have children. That way you have a lineage. You know, your genetics going to live on this earth even when you die, right? And by the way, this is one of the reasons why ancient people, ancient men, you know, you see these people like the warriors. Um, yeah, I'm sorry to have to explain this to you guys, but I think it has to be explained. You know, you see all these warriors in medieval times and even before, willing to go to these crazy battles, dangerous battles where they know there's like a 70% chance they're going to get cut down and hacked limb by limb. And yet they go. They're not stupid. They're not just forfeiting their life like that. No, they're doing it because they have the knowledge that they have women back home that they have already impregnated and that they have already managed to reproduce and have like 2 or 3 kids back home. So they know that they have fulfilled their purpose in life. They know that they have replicated their genetics. So even if they die in battle, it doesn't matter because so what? You die, and the purpose of life is not for you to live forever as a man. The purpose is the purpose is for you to live forever through your children, because your children are going to stay alive and they're going to reproduce and they're going to reproduce and they're going to, you know what I mean? So again, guys, you have to ask this to the MGTOW folks. You know, you throw in the towel and you say, I don't want to get into the competition. I don't want to get into this race. I don't want to have anything to do with women. And of course, you know, a lot of you are going to say, oh, but the rape allegations. Yeah, okay, I've had rape allegations. It's not going to stop me because, look, man, I understand you don't want to get into a marriage. You don't want to get into a relationship. It's, you know, you have nothing to gain from those. But you still want to create a family. You still want to have children. You still want to reproduce. You know, and that's just something that you're going to have to handle. You know, there may be a chance, there may be a tiny little, maybe even a significant risk that potentially when you have sex with a girl, it could potentially lead to you being accused of rape and having legal problems. It's not ideal. Technically, this shouldn't be happening, ideally. But in this society, hey, well, it is the way it is. But the choice is yours. The choice is yours. You know, you wanna go MGTOW? Go MGTOW. Throw in the towel. But guys, why aren't all those attractive men, the 7 out of 10, the 8 out of 10, the Chads, you know, why aren't they saying, oh, I'm going to go MGTOW? You never hear a Chad, like a literal Chad, saying, I'm going to go MGTOW. No. The Chad is not saying, I'm going to go MGTOW. The Chad is saying, fuck no, man. You know, I got all these women. I'm going to be having sex with women. Of course they're going to exercise those options because they're trying to play out their sexual strategy, you know, sexual selection and all that, right? So guys, this is my criticism of MGTOW. Like I said again, I'm going to reiterate and repeat this point to ad infinitum. I totally understand that the MGTOW people do not want to get married and they do not want to get into relationships, and I totally agree with that. You don't have to get into relationships. But consider this. What is stopping you from dealing with women and having sex with them and reproducing? Because this is just a competition that men are engaging in. And why would you throw in the towel and make it easier for other men to compete? And those women that you could have, you know, locked down, so to speak, genetically, now they're going to get locked down by somebody else. How's that a good thing for you? And then, like I said, you call the entire question of your manhood into question. You know, what's the purpose of you as men? You know, you live this life. You know, you live until you're 70 or 80 years. And then what? You've never sired any children. You never succeeded in replicating your genetic DNA. And other men have. And you're going to die, and there is nothing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even if you become a successful man who has, loads and loads and loads of money and resources and big companies, I really don't care. Because like I explained to you guys, even the competition for resources is not just for the man to consume those resources for himself. The competition for the resources is for the family, it's for the women, it's for the children. It's to make sure that the children have enough resources to grow up and ensure their survival so that they can also get to reproduce. Okay? So that was my criticism of the MGTOW folks. And, you know, I do have to mention something, which is that I have noticed that a lot of these people that go on the forums and YouTube and everywhere, of course, you notice something, they never show their face. But anyway, let's not just mention that. But a lot of these people are complain about this and say, oh, I'm going to go MGTOW. A lot of them are suboptimal. They're sub 5. When you're sub 5, I'm sorry, man, but you saying I'm going to go MGTOW is useless, is pointless, is futile. It means nothing. You go MGTOW, so what? No one cares. The women don't care. The women are not, the women are not biting their knuckles. They're not biting their fingers at the fact that you are deciding to leave. When the Chad goes MGTOW, then we can talk. Then we can talk about MGTOW. All right, guys?